I don't. Why not? That's what I'm asking. Why not? Why can't I swim against the ladies? Why are we having a transphobic world? NANI?
Dynamite! We got a lot of good topics we want to cover. Obviously, there's a lot going on right now in the news, so let's not delay. Let's not mislay. You feel me? Let's get right into it. The things we forgot to tell you last week. This is one of my favorite segments. We talk about stuff that I think you should know. It's happening. You should know about it. That's just my personal opinion. But obviously, if you haven't heard or aren't aware, Ketanji Brown Jackson, she literally was just confirmed like probably not even an hour ago. She has been confirmed as the first black woman in the Supreme Court. This comes at a 53-46 vote after three Republicans voted outside of party lines. Oh wait, this isn't the right one. Sorry. Whoops. That is a topic we're covering though today. I'm covering which story? This story? Yep, there we go. Senate confirms. Senate confirms. Boom. Ketanji Brown Jackson Supreme Court. Yes, this is what we're covering. The Senate Thursday voted 53-47 confirmed Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. 3 Republican senators, Mitt Romney of Utah, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Susan Collins of Maine joined the 48 Democrats and 2 independents in voting to confirm Jackson to the nation's highest court. 51-year-old. Dang, Jackson's 51? She looks good to be 51. That black don't crack, baby. That black don't crack. Good for her. But yeah, we needed this. We wanted this. Shout out to Mitt Romney and Susan Collins. They seem to be the only Republicans with a sense of decency, but it's like, it's hard. I don't want to give them too much praise because they easily could fall off that rocket very quickly. But this is like the final nail in the coffin. There's nothing more that needs to be done. Congratulations to the Jackson family. It's just very clear. And from looking at all the stuff she had to go through, the most qualified person on the Supreme Court had to go through the most rigorous hearing. And it shows that, black women, they got to be twice as good to get half of what everyone else is getting, and this is further proof of it. But like I said, I foresee there's a woman in the Supreme Court with dreadlocks. How am I going to be upset about that? One thing I can be upset at, rapper Tory Lanez is back in jail. I'm actually not upset about that. I think he should be in jail. There's no way in hell you can tell me this is such a contrast, right? On one hand, we have a black woman who's accomplished so much and being ridiculed and attacked with no ounce of protection, and here we have another black woman who's easily. There's something. Oh, tornado! The tornado alarms are going off in my neighborhood. Interesting. Well, I'm already in the basement, so I'll be fine. But if the stream goes down, send flowers to my mother. Megan Thee Stallion, who got shot in the foot or by her foot by Tory Lanez with an unregistered gun, and this dude isn't behind bars. There's no way in hell you're telling me that this guy is able to walk freely. That's crazy. But after a few hearings, the judge heard a few things, and the judge increased his bond to $350,000. So the 29-year-old was put in. He doesn't look like he's 29. You age ugly when you have hate in your heart. But hopefully, so 350 from 250,000 to 350,000. So he did post bond, but now he's not allowed to. He basically got in trouble for tweeting about her. Those Twitter fingers, calls himself a man. You tweeting about a whole woman. Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, Tory Lanez could be done with this whole chapter of his life if he just learned the golden rule of being guilty, which is just shutting the fuck up. Proposed legislation could legalize child marriage in Tennessee. This is no longer proposed. This is actually a thing.
Tennessee Republicans want to make common law marriage legal, but the bill being pushed through the legislature this week doesn't have any age requirements. Opponents say that paves the way for allowing child marriage. Action News 5's Joyce Peterson here with those details. Joyce?
Yeah, Kanji, 24 Tennessee Republicans have sponsored this bill, and it's making headlines all across the globe. Take a look. Newsweek, The Hill, even the Daily Mail in the United Kingdom, all talking about this. Folks wondering, are lawmakers in Tennessee really going to legalize child marriage?
So all this bill does...
State Rep Tom Leatherwood, the Republican from Shelby County, introduced House Bill 233, trying to legalize common law marriage in Tennessee as a pushback to the LGBTQ movement.
And if there's any hostility, it's against those people that do believe marriage comes from God, not from government, and do believe it's between one man and woman.
It's my concern to be you're changing the law because, of course, we have strict age limits on marriage in Tennessee, and I don't think we want to get away from that.
The Democrats on the panel questioned a missing critical element.
So your current language does not have an age limit. You're aware that our current law does have an age limit. You know what that age limit is.
Current Tennessee law states you can get married as young as 17 if you have parental consent. Critics worry House Bill 233, if passed, would allow child marriage or child sex abuse.
What in your legislation?
And just so we're clear, America is the third biggest port as of 2018 for child sex trafficking. The third biggest port for child trafficking is America. And here we have a Republican out here in these streets trying to make it okay to, go ahead marry kids. It was just so we're all clear on that, right?
And would stop a 16-year-old from going down with someone else to the courthouse and getting this done, since there's no age restrictions within your law.
I think it would be construed that minors would not be able to enter into this
So it would be assumed.
contract.
Assumed. So we're going to take the assumption that they would not include minors in this.
We're making a whole bunch to do with in getting off in the weeds here, when this strictly is a form that we certainly should entitle our citizens the right to choose.
We have no age limit restriction in this legislation at all, and that's very much a problem.
Leave it to a black
All
man
right,
to try and
tonight,
save the
State
world.
Senator.
Obviously, they don't see a problem with this because, it's in their nature. Republicans are scumbag. It's never been about kids or protecting or none of that shit. Any of that shit they ever tell you is always going to be a flat out, unmitigated lie. How do I get rid of this? I know how to get rid of this. You're just going to go back one. And we'll use a different story link. Get fucked. Woman who faked terminal cancer in $50,000 New York scam sentenced to 2 years in prison. This is actually not the story I wanted. It's about a lady, Texas woman. Here we go. But that's also very stupid. She's an asshole. Are you kidding me right now? I will forego this story. All right, here we go. Fake cancer. Woman fakes cancer to avoid imprisonment for fraud. Faces more time in prison now. Excellent. So basically, this lady was out in these streets lying about her sickness. So she had been sentenced or something like that. So she forged a letter by her doctor and said like, yo, She has cancer. Putting her in jail would be cruel and unusual and shit like that. Fast forward, she doesn't have cancer. So now she'll be serving more time. She would have been out by the time all of these delays and suspensions would have been done. But, greed. I love to see it. Fans of slain rapper shocked his body was displayed at nightclub. A lot of people found this to be kind of disturbing. Here's the video. But I was more than okay with it. And not only was I okay with it, I was okay with it because... Put this on. So that's his body there. Fireworks. Because this is a cultural thing. And I feel like, if you don't understand the culture, you don't understand the meaning, the purpose behind it, it's not meant for you. But clearly the mother, the daughter, they saw him in his life as a representation of joy in a big old party. And guess what? They threw his ass a big ass party. This is something that I've seen in the Middle East, and I've also seen in other scenarios where they put their loved ones in the thing they love doing the most. Like I saw a dude on a motorcycle. I saw a dude being propped up in his favorite outfit, watching his favorite TV show. This is just something they do. People grieve differently. And I need people to understand that. Philip DeFranco did a story on this and try to poke fun at it. It's just weird to me. It's like, this is someone's culture you're making fun of. This is their culture. Respect it. Biden administration extends pause on federal student loan repayment. Just go ahead, wipe that shit out. You feel me? Come on. Just wipe that shit out. Can I get an oh yeah for that, please? Because the longer we hold out on this, it's just creating a bigger aftershock, and we still haven't addressed the main issue. Is just, why is telling someone 2 + 2 is 4 more expensive year by year? In addition to that, I have a conundrum here, because you're telling me school costs more, but if high school is free, why can't college be free? And I know there's some people that don't want high school to be free, but it's just crazy to me. Let's hear what she got to say. She has really big eyes.
It's controversial to say this, and I don't know why, which is why I talk about it, but I truly believe that people cannot afford to not invest and just solely focus on paying off student loans, mostly because it's going to take many, many years. The average time it takes someone to pay off student loans is around 20 years. So imagine telling somebody, don't invest for those 20 years until you are debt free. That is absolutely ludicrous. You're never going to get that time back. So what I tell people is it's important to pay yourself. Yes, pay your bills, but you are your top priority. And if you don't prioritize yourself over those bills, no one else.
And as long as they can't send me to jail, they can't dock none of my shit, I'll pay $100 to the day I die. It's just crazy that they think anyone's going to be able to pay this off. It's crazy they think anyone's going to be able to pay off. But yeah, she's telling the truth. Peace Corps advises black volunteers they may be called the N-word by Ukrainian refugees. I'd say this, and I really mean this from a good part. Every time some shit like this happens, this whole feeling sorry for the Ukrainians becomes a lot more difficult, because why would that, what this reminds me of? This gives me the energy of if I worked in an old folks home, and as a black person coming in there to provide health care, I'm being warned that I might be called out of my name, and that it's just, they can't help themselves. And that's just not going to fly. Mr. Anderson is just going to have to die without that transplant, because I'm not about to be coming on here to save a racist life and be subjugated while doing it. I don't have to do it. The interesting thing about healthcare and the interesting thing about volunteering is you don't have to do it. It's a luxury that's being given to you as an insignificant, not as an insignificant. Well, if you're racist, you're insignificant. But it's given to you as a person who has less. A have-not. That's like a beggar trying to be a chooser. It just doesn't work that way. But if you can handle that, I commend you. But I hope they keep that same energy when it's time to talk about paying people, and next year in the budget of Ukraine, they make sure that they increase their annual like African funds from like 50 million to 100 million. Oh man, I actually want to cover this story in its entirety, so I will allow this. So, Madison Cawthorn addresses orgy cocaine controversy. This is an amazing story. Madison Cawthorn, who is pictured here, is what I like to call what's the word? A loser. And he's just a liar on par with someone I've never just seen. But let's see what Fox News gets this right.
Freedom of speech is under attack.
We always find a way to persevere.
We as conservatives have ultimate faith in people.
The birthplace of Jesus.
Give it to God. He is doing this for a reason. This is about veterans.
There is a way to find justice.
Absolutely beautiful.
And it all leads to this.
At home with me, Paula Dean.
We should learn from the history.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wow, that's depressing. Oh shit. Okay, this looks like it has nothing to do with anything. So in the likes of the story, at least for Representative, he basically made all these claims that basically it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, he made all of these weird claims that he was being invited to orgies and drug-filled situations where, you know, some people he looked up to were giving him all of these things and inviting him to drug parties and orgies and stuff like this. And there's just one question I have for this dude. You know, I just have one question, one thing I just truly want to understand about him is, if you know you're a person who represents the law and wants to be all about doing the right thing, why didn't you report those people to the proper authorities? Why didn't you report those people? If they were doing drugs and having orgies, why didn't you report those people so we could get them out of government? Why are you protecting them? This guy is very weird. And there's even stories so basically he got into like a car accident or something like that, and that's why he's in a wheelchair. But he constantly uses the fact that he's in a wheelchair as the reason why he couldn't go and serve. And there's like footage of him punching a tree. Like, he's a very weird individual. He's, you know, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, he's like a male version of that. And it's just a weird thing. And like, this is him getting pulled over and being surprised that the car is under his dad's registration. Like, he's not a prep boy who gets all his money from his dad. He's not a person who got a small donation from his father.
With you. The reason I'm stopping you is for your speed. Okay. You got your driver's license with you? Okay. You the registered owner of the vehicle? You are? What's your name? Okay. What's the reason for the rush? Okay. All right. If you would just stay in the car, I'll try to look you up based off the plate. If I have any questions, I'll come back up and talk with you.
Just a weird individual.
Didn't see 11 to say. All right, let me grab your information from you, because I think it looks like it's registered to, I guess, your dad. Is it really? Yeah. All right, sir. Here's going to be this for you. All right. Do your best to make sure you have your driver's license on you. There's something we can't charge you with. I didn't do it today. Just make sure you have that on you.
Oh, he didn't do it today? Fucking asshole. Sandra Brown was murdered for something on par with this. I fucking hate watching like police. But anyway, like, this is Madison Cawthorn. This is someone we sent to represent us.
Take notes, Madam Speaker. I'm about to define what a woman is for you. XX chromosomes, no tallywhacker. It's so simple. And yet today, this proclamation of fundamental woman. Take no...
So what about the women who have 3 X's? And they have hormone defects. What about the women who have extreme estrogen or high testosterone? Like, what are those considered women? Like, he thinks he has the ability to define what a woman is so easily when our biological studies have made it more difficult. The language we speak has made it more difficult. Yeah, you can define what a woman is physically, what she might look like, in your opinion. But to sit here and proclamate that you know what a woman looks like or what a woman is, it's just weird. It's just a weird hill to, it's a weird hill to die on, and something weird, even weirder to stand up for, given that you're in a wheelchair. I guess something to roll on. But yeah, speaking of Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says she reported Jimmy Kimmel to the Capitol Police after a Will Smith joke. And this is funny on multiple levels. One, because when the Capitol riots was going on, and after they happened, and after 2 or several officers suffered injuries, and some even died, she was one of the first Republicans, I might add, who weren't back in the blue. They're so fucking fake. Republicans are the worst. Like, this is why I even stopped just arguing about it or talking about it, because Republicans are just the worst mock-up or a figment of our imagination when it comes to trying to say oh, we speak for the people. When those people were getting killed and shot and died and stuff like that, those were the people that she was complaining about. Now, when they turned around to try and sue and make amends and tell the truth, she was calling them liars, fakes. And now she's reporting them to this, weaponizing the police. Something white women are really good at, especially white women like this. Grammys for Best Reggae Album goes to a bunch of white guys. This is funny because it's not even the white guys that have the faux locks, right? Those locks that come because their hair is dirty, not because their hair naturally locks. They have to do stuff. You artificially have to do something to your hair to make it like that. Stealing a culture. It's funny to me. I don't really care, but it's just, what accents did the second to last man do on this? Oh, I gotta hear this. Hold on. That's funny, because if they talk and they don't even have an accent, that's gonna be hilarious. Hold
on. We want to thank all our influences when we were growing up. Starting a reggae band was kind of our dream and the only thing we wanted to do. And then one day people started coming to the shows, and we're not really sure what happened. But thank you to the Academy, to Red Light Management and Elliot, and to ATO Records. Thank you, guys.
To the founding fathers of reggae music, and to the island of Jamaica, you inspired us all. Give thanks. One love.
One love, give thanks.
All right.
Wait, what? What? Own it. Who cares? They've been stealing for so long, it's hard to care anymore. Oh, that's funny. And just so this is sort of a conjunction story, right? Martinsburg woman alleges unlawful arrest. This is a weird title. It's not even alleged. They've already admitted they were wrong. Arrest by Eastern Panhandle Drug and Violence Crime Task Force. This is more going along the lines of proving that officers aren't good at their jobs. I constantly say this, I constantly repeat it, I make it very clear. they're just not good at their jobs. And when I say this and people like look at me in confusion, I'm not trying to be crude or anything like that. They're just not good at their job. They arrested this woman who was at her job, comfortably sitting at work, minding her own business at 7-Eleven. They walk in, arrest her, give her no reason for the arrest, take her down to the station after kidnapping her, basically, leave her in the car outside of the station for 1 hour. They then finally come out. They present to her her arrest warrant, and between all of the officers, between the judge, the officer, the chief in command, everyone who signed off on this, at least 10 people looked at this piece of paper. 10 people looked at this piece of paper and said, "We got her." And then they handed it to her, and she said, "That's not my name." They didn't even look at her ID. They didn't even look at her ID. And to her, she's 57. They were looking for like a 47-year-old white woman. They tried to take her back to her house. She couldn't even go back home because they busted down the door and ransacked her house looking for drugs. Cops aren't good at their job. There's no other profession. This is why I used to be a part of that whole defund them. But you can't take money away from a bully and expect them to get better. This isn't a punishment. This is a team, an assassin-like group of people that were harbored and birthed from hatred. There's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that. And just imagine if, because they did this at night, so if she was at home, they would have raided her house. And this poor woman would have ended up like Amir Locke, who was asleep on a couch within 9 seconds of his door being kicked down, and had more trigger discipline than all of the officers who then shot at him. And they're not being punished for it. The same place. This is the same place. Where George Floyd happened. Where that crazy lady. Like, why can't we hold these officers accountable? Amir Locke wasn't on the warrant. He wasn't the suspect they were looking for. They went to the wrong place. All of these things, a night, it's just crazy. You're going into these places to ransack people for drugs. The war on drugs has done more damage to black people in this country than any other policy ever made. Amir Locke's people will not see, this poor boy will not see justice. That's crazy to me. But yet we still out here got people saying, "Oh, we need the police. We need the police." Shut up. You need to shut up. That's what you need to do. And in our last story, this, all right, so let's just watch it. Let's just watch it.
Hello, how you guys doing, council? So my name is Alexandria Stein, and I'm here today to call out transphobia here in Plano. I'm currently being restricted from swimming in the City of Plano Swim League against the women, even though it's clear that I reassigned my gender last week. Like, for example, do I look like a man? Obviously I'm not. This is a woman. But they're not going to let me swim and compete against the ladies because of transphobia. So what I need you guys to do is I need you to wake up. We have champions like Leah Thomas. She's an NCAA champion, the best swimmer in college today. I can't get a scholarship unless I'm able to send a recruiting tape to these colleges. So they say, oh, you have an unfair advantage, Alexandria. What looks like, does this look like an unfair advantage to y'all? Does this look like an unfair advantage? There's nothing unfair about this. I mean, look at me. I'm the same as a girl, but yet.
I'm mad he's kind of filling out. I don't know if he stuffed his bra, but his chest, or patted his chest, but I'm kind of mad he's filling this bathing suit out. Is he transgender? No, this is a joke, right?
You guys are going to let transphobia
he's a
run
comedian.
rampant. Paige, I'm so worried. You're the city attorney. You really got to stand up and do something because, you know, that is gender bias, and I don't like gender bias. I'm on hormone therapy, so my estrogen levels are so high, they're through the roof. But you guys are going to sit here, and you're not going to take me seriously. You're going to laugh at me. I'm trying to compete. And yes, I was born a boy. So what, guys? This is 2022. It doesn't matter what you were born. We have Ketanji Brown Jackson even says she doesn't even know what a woman is. So then I'm a woman. So that's what you guys have to do. If the Supreme Court justice is on my side, then why can't I get the same from the Plano City Council? That's the problem, is I come here and I'm still a victim of transphobia. Yet we have champions like my girl Leah, my sister, and she gets to win, but I don't. Why not? That's what I'm asking you. Why not? Why can't I swim against the ladies? Why are we having a transphobic world where I just want to compete against the ladies? Why are you saying that I'm not a biological woman? Clearly, I look like a biological woman. I mean, come on, it's been hours tucking this thing in. Give me a break. I should be able to swim. And I'm on so much hormone therapy, I don't even know left or right anymore. So I'm doing this. I don't have an unfair advantage. No way. So I need you guys to stand up. We have a city issue, Rick, and we can actually fix this and let me compete against the ladies. I'm sick of these women. Oh, you're having an unfair advantage. Yeah, right. And I'm mentally ill, and they won't even let me compete in the Special Olympics. So go figure. Think about that. I can't compete in the Special Olympics, and I can't compete against women. What kind of bigotry is that? Are you guys going to let that stand? I wouldn't let that stand. If I were y'all, I would stand up for me, because in the future, they're going to write these in the history book, and they're going to have to decide what side Plano is on. Were they transphobes, or were they transpositive? And obviously, I'm transpositive. So that's what I want. I want you guys to wake up to what's going on in the world and tell the City of Plano Swim League to let me compete against the ladies. I've been on hormone blockers for nearly 2 weeks now, and like I said, I'm so messed up from them, I'm probably going to lose anyway. But I can send that tape to a college, and I might get a scholarship, Julie. So don't look at me with your eyes looking at me all mean. I'm out here trying to change for you. This is women's rights. I'm standing up for women's rights. Thank you. It's Primetime Stein on Instagram if you guys want to learn how to swim against the ladies. Thank y'all so much.
So is this guy... So this... Okay, so it wasn't funny. And I kind of regret watching it now, because it's like I have to live with this image in my mind. Like, well, okay. So he's a comic. He's from Texas. And he clearly was looking for an audience. This is where he could do it. Like, I don't knock his hustle, but man, it's low-hanging fruit. And I say this, and I always say this: people who don't belong to a genre or a culture or like something like that, punching down just doesn't look good. This is a white male using all of his privilege combined to make Colonel Captain Sanders. And it's just not a good look. I don't find it funny. He repeated his jokes. It's just like, it's not my cup of tea. But like, hey man, whatever floats your boat. Like, if this gets you to stardom or gets you a few extra views on your video, but like, just keep in mind, this is now forever on the internet, and God forbid you don't have a transgender child. And I'm saying this from a stance of that I don't want you to, like, not, it's just because your transgender child is going to have to hear from one side of your mouth that I love you or I hate you, and then see this video and say, well, if you love me, why did you do something like this? And then if you're on the hate you side, well, now it makes sense why you hate me, because you've been hating me since before I was born. Put shit like this into context. You guys got to be like way more careful. Like males, especially white males, just don't have the platform to be speaking on these things. A transgender issue is something that I don't know. I have actively stayed away from it, and it's sort of like because my opinion on it isn't well formed. I often look at it from a perspective of, as a competitor or as a person on the sideline. Like, I would want to compete against the best people, but people don't become people don't go through gender reassignments or gender hormone therapy to win a medal. They do it to live their life. And it just so happens in that life they play a sport. So I'll probably have a resolved opinion about this, but I didn't find this to be funny. So yeah, good for you. Clap it. We done with this.